What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the StayWeighedIn podcast. A big milestone today. It's 100 episodes. So before we get into anything, for anyone who supported the channel, liked, commented, subscribed, thank you for all the love and support. And for anybody watching this episode who hasn't so far subscribed, hit that little bell there as well, the notification bell, subscribe, do all that good stuff as well. But with that being said, I'm joined with my co-host himself, the legend Sugar Ray. How you doing?
Listen, man. Hold up, let me just. You see the trim still? Trim's fresh. Come on, man. Talk to me nice. But yeah, man. End the year, so it's only right that we meet up. Ironic that potentially our last episode is episode 100. So a good way to end the year and discuss interest in your boxing. But how are you keeping?
I'm keeping good. Like I think we're all on that vibe that it's just cold everywhere, so we can wear hoodies. Nobody can judge. None of that. Even in team meetings, all that good stuff. But you know what? You're right. 100th episode, and we are recapping a year in boxing. So I guess the first thing I want to ask you is, considering how criticized the sport is, has boxing had a great year this year?
It's had an undisputed year this year. That's what I'll say. I think it's been a big year of undisputed. Obviously, this week gone by, love a Japanese fight night. So in a way, became undisputed at bantamweight. First person ever, I believe, to be undisputed at bantamweight. First Asian to be undisputed. Then beginning of the year, we had Jamel Charlo being Castaños become undisputed at 154. We had a fantastic Clarissa Shields, undisputed. Chantel Cameron, friend of the show, undisputed. Devin Haney, undisputed. And I apologize if there's anybody else that became undisputed, but it's not hitting my mind right now. But we've had a lot of undisputed and unified champions this year. So I think in regards to megastar fights, it may have not delivered. But if you are actually a boxing fan, in comparison to former years, this has been a good year, seeing a lot of people unify.
So like keeping on, let's keep the positives going then.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned about the undisputeds and stuff. What other highs have you seen of 2022? And then following on for that, some of the lows of boxing in 2022 as well.
I think some of the highs is just seeing some great fights. You know, sometimes what happens is when there is like a year that there's not as many stars come out, what you do end up getting sometimes is you start getting, you start getting fights that you may not have seen if there was so much starlight. So, for example, Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall. Women's boxing this year. What a year. They've been really showing the men, this is how you make the big fights. Stop all the politics, BS. Let's make this happen. Whether it's Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall, whether it's Kay Taylor Serrano, whether it's Alicia Baumgardner and Maya, McCaskill and Chantel Cameron, and the list can go on. Oh my gosh. Her name escapes me. Franchon Cruz dazn. I apologize if I've absolutely butchered your name. But she also became undisputed this year in, I believe, the super middleweight for women as well. So yeah, like they've just put on display and they're showing blood and guts. And from the show that they set off the year right with Kay Taylor and Serrano and MSG, absolutely putting a blaze for many people, their fight of the year. And then September, was it September? Yeah, I believe it was September. Seeing Clarissa Shields, I was actually at that show. So Clarissa Shields first, Marshall was electric. What a fight! What an entrance! She talked the talk and walked the walk. And shout out to Marshall on her part as well for being just as active in that fight. And yeah, it was just the year of the women, I believe, for me, that and a lot of undisputed fights got made in a year that we once again evaded Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford.
Is that your ultimate law then? The fact that this fight, bearing that Crawford was a free agent for the entire year, only fought Avenisian right at the end of the year, being that he's one fight.
There's no Avenetian. Do you know what really takes the piss of it all? Yeah, is the fact that PBC I've literally seen them put some of the worst pay-per-views on ever, with Furman as a pay-per-view against Barrios. I've seen them put, what is it, Ortiz against
Ruiz.
Martin was pay-per-view, Wilder against Helenius was pay-per-view, and you're telling me you can't make Spence versus Crawford?
So
Because you're gonna lose money and you haven't lost money. A lot of them fights ain't even breaking 100K.
I think what it is, this is where it goes to that fighter belief, and I think we've talked about it before, where the fighters believe they're worth more than what the pay-per-view will actually sell.
Yeah.
That's the issue. That it's an ego thing in some ways, because everyone needs to drop the ego and take potentially less-ish money and push the fight forward.
Well, here's the, obviously there was the rumor though that Terence Crawford said he would take less money if there was more transparency with, I guess, how much he would get, but because he had no guarantee. And to his credit, listen, fair enough. If I'm used to getting X amount of money, you can't tell me take less, and earlier you're gonna take less. You're gonna have less of a guarantee. So it's a techie one, because then the way I look at it, it is the promoter's fault, because when he was at Top Rank, you could have shared, the lion's share of the dividends, and then no one has to lose out on money. And now I think when it's only up to like one promoter to foot the bill, they're kind of like, oh crap, it's too expensive. So it's just like, you should have done this when it was at Top Rank then. But everyone wanted to be selfish and say, no, it can only be done on our network. And then as boxing is finding out, there's not that much money unless there's the megastars involved. And even with the megastars involved, sometimes the money's, I can't lie, certain times I see certain figures in boxing, I'm like, someone's lying. There's no way there's no way this is generating this much money, unless it's either to do with one, sports washing, or two, someone's just putting on for fun and they got more money than they know what to do with it. Because certain times I'm seeing certain figures go around, I'm just like, this is a lie. There is no way this event is generating this much money. It's BS, but it's just the big hyperbole and mess that boxing is that makes it so entertaining to watch at the same time.
So let's move on to, I guess, probably more of a debate thing, because I think unanimously we kind of agree with where the highs and low were. The pound for pound rankings, your top five. I want to go from 5 to number 1 for you.
This has caught me off guard. Hold up. You see my top 3.
Okay, let's go top 3 then. Because
no. Because my top 3 I know is, by no order, it involves Crawford, Inoue, and Usyk. For me.
Right.
And then outside of the two, I'll admit I'm showing bias, but F it, I don't care. Jamel Charlo and Devin Haney.
Putting Spence in top 5. Spence in top 5?
He's not undisputed. All those people are.
But Crawford. Oh,
Crawford undisputed at a lower weight class. So
what about Canelo?
Oh, yeah, okay. Let me run that back real quick.
I feel like Canelo is the one that had his.
That was this. Oh my! Do you know what it is?
He lost to Bivol, but and then because he's lost to Bivol, a lot of people have just decided.
Yeah, that's very bad.
Discarding Canelo, and he's been, I think, for me personally, in 2022, the most disrespected fighter, because he lost to a guy.
No. I'm sorry. He has to hold that. And you know why he has to hold that?
He holds the L. But I think the way people became reactionary towards Canelo just showed me that you're there for the good times and not necessarily.
Oh, yeah. People are pieces of shit. However, is a techie one, because people are pieces of shit, which is annoying. At the same time, though, with Canelo, it was kind of like that thing of, it was disrespectful how he was talking like he was just gonna march down, like big cruiserweights. And I remember I called it. I said, if the judges don't screw him over, this is Bivol's fight. 'Cause I'm not trying to be funny. There's weight classes for a reason. Even if your skill level could potentially be higher, which I'm not saying it was the case with Bivol and Canelo, because Bivol showed it wasn't just like he didn't just, walk him down and punch him up. It's like, no, he showed a high level skill. But I think the Canelo thing, the law kind of went missing. But I didn't even think it should go missing, because guess what? He's a super middleweight. Super middleweight is his max weight. Light heavyweight is like, if there's a weaker light heavyweight, then yeah, you can beat that.
I think
And
he
I
beat
think,
Kovalev, didn't he?
yeah, and I think what's disrespectful is that people try to take Bivol for, obviously they see Better Beef as the guy at light heavyweight. But then when people are trying to take Bivol for an idiot at light heavyweight, I'm just like, are you lot sick? Like, especially for the general public, I get it. Marketing wise, Canelo's gonna look like the guy. But for the people that are in the know that were still doubting Bivol, I was kind of looking at, this is so disrespectful. It is crazy. So when he done what he done, I weren't like surprised that some people just like, oh my gosh, Canelo, maybe he's not all that. I said, no, Canelo's still the guy. It just happens to be at that weight class. No. And that's why this is how crazy it is, because then Bivol start going up people's pound for pound rankings. I'm like, for as harsh as it sounds, yeah. For
One win.
what? He beat him. He's supposed to beat him.
I get you.
He's supposed. The only reason you lot are rating it, like I rate Bivol's Zerdo win better than I do his Canelo win, because Zerdo is a blown up guy who had an undefeated record that some people looked at as a bit, it's a bit padded. But when he beat Zerdo so systematically, and Zerdo being the physically bigger person, I rate that more than him being Canelo, because as highly skilled as Canelo was, that's not his weight class. Do you get what I'm saying? But definitely, do you know what? I would put, fuck it, this is biased again, and I ain't going to do mine. He's going to beat my ass. Listen,
I have a little.
I'm going to put at 5th place, Jamel Charlo / Canelo. No. That's disrespectful. Jamel Charlo / Devin Haney at 5.
Okay.
Canelo 4. Top 3 is Inoue, Crawford, Usyk.
I can take it. If we're playing where everyone has to be undisputed to be in the top 5, then I can't put Spence in personally. Which, if I was to do it on a personal preference.
Yeah, what's your one then?
Spence, Crawford, Canelo, Inoue, Usyk. And again, I'm happy to even put Inoue as number 1 at a certain point, because of outside of the Butler fight, but I think because of how the fight was actually planning out, I would say he's the most devastating fighter right now in boxing, just because of how he's marketed in a way that his fights are always on a Tuesday and there's no UK broadcast.
Listen, one day I need to go to a fight night in Japan. It needs to happen. This is from when I used to watch Pride FC back in the day for MMA, and like some of the crowds at like Pride were like crazy, and some of the Japanese events, and the Japanese crowd is just amazing. I need to go watch, whether it's MMA or boxing, I need to watch a big event in Japan, and they always do big New Year's Eve ones as well. I know in Japan right now they got Bellator and Rising. They're doing a big MMA event on New Year's Eve.
I think there's a fight as well on December 30th. I believe it might.
Yes, Ioka first, Franco, I believe. Yeah. The lower weight classes. Yeah. I need to go there and watch that. Shout out for all the people that know about the anime. Hajime no Ippo. If you know, you know. But yeah.
Let's do one more quick controversial take on 2022, and that's, I think, I'm gonna say the rise and then like its own branding of YouTube boxing, Misfit Boxing, dazn, and everything.
I like it.
I was gonna ask you that. Do you like the fact that now it's so you got Jake Paul doing his thing personally outside of
Jake Paul? I don't count as YouTube boxing no more. It's a is a spectacle, but it's not YouTube boxing.
So with it being now branded with KSI as the Misfits Boxing, have they found their own particular niche and place in boxing, being that it's under that particular label, rather than throwing it in with boxing itself? It's now on a separate entity, and will it ever, because it can't be comparative to boxing, so with it being classed as Misfits Boxing, have they nailed it there?
Absolutely. And to all of you miserable gits, it's ruining boxing. Shut the F up. Because there is a lot of you that give no play, no attention, no love, no coverage to boxing in general. There's a lot of big fights this year. Even look at Inouye versus Butler. There weren't even no coverage. There was none.
Zero. Like, you couldn't
Zero
actually
in the UK. Zero. This is undisputed fight. Are you trying to tell me what? No sports channel on a Tuesday afternoon. That's probably, and if none of the other big sports channels have got the World Cup to watch either. What? So none of you can say.
First guy do Top Rank for free.
So, and that's what's crazy. Even Sky Sports, you're not even showing the World Cup. You've got space. You could have played that. You could have put that match on. And then these same people are gonna, and then the public who don't even know what they want are gonna be like, "Oh, it's ruining boxing. This, that, and the third. Boxing become a joke. Boxing's not become a joke because boxing's had a brilliant year. We're talking about undisputed boxers, like we were just saying. It's had a brilliant year, but a lot of people just want to complain because the mainstream boxing ain't in your face. But the mainstream boxing can't be in your face if you're not supporting it from the ground up. And no one's telling you to go. I mean, you should, but no one's telling you that every single, boxing show in your leisure center, your sports hall that you have to go to. But there's like world championship boxing that people aren't even watching. And then you're going to complain about some YouTubers who are appealing to people that don't even care about boxing. That's crazy. That's like Premiership players complaining, "Oh my goodness, remember when all the YouTubers done a football match and they done crazy numbers? Imagine a Premiership footballer saying, or not, let me not say Prem, because them lot already, majority of them are in
Let's say
decent.
like League One, because if they're playing,
Yeah, that's like League One or Championship going, "Oh, I can't believe it. You lot are showing more love." I promise you, these YouTubers could do a game of frisbee and these lot are going to tune in. So when people complain about YouTube bots, I'm like, shut up, man. You're just complaining because if I ask you who's the world champion outside, some of these lot probably think Annie Joshua's still a world champion because you're so that much of a casual. You probably don't even know who Canelo is. You probably don't even know Canelo's weight class, some of these people.
that's funny because you say that, because we had that debate about boxing superstars versus outsider superstars.
Yeah.
And we came to that unanimous idea that there isn't really outside of probably Joshua, to an extent Fury now as well.
AJ, Canelo, and Fury. Fury's still not. Fury's in a weird position where he's not the pay-per-view star. I think AJ's popularity is crazy because his one was people know his name and they buy his fights.
Yeah.
Fury's still not there yet, but he's at that point where people know your name. But obviously, sometimes to his own detriment, his antics are what put people off him. So it's like his pay-per-views don't always match what AJ does. No matter, AJ could have lost twice to Usyk, and even there's no shame in that because Usyk's a pound for pound great, and people tuned in. The numbers, it done numbers. Word to Larry June. So AJ is the anomaly, and even him is kind of like he's at a position now where it's just like he's in the twilight of potentially in the twilight of his career. But I think he just wants to have fun with it now, type of thing. I don't know whether he wants to become a world champion, who knows? But maybe it's time to cash out. But that's the big mystery of 2023 that I'm looking forward to finding out where AJ goes. But outside of AJ Canelo, and then you got a bracket of I say there's superstars. AJ and Canelo are superstars. Then you got stars. For me, stars are like Tyson Fury and America, Gervonta Davis. And then, but even Gervonta's another one. Maybe for the Ryan Garcia fight, but for now, it's like he sells out arenas. People know his name. But pay-per-view wise, he's not that guy yet. I think he will be. I think he can be. He's talking smoky now. So 2023 will be interesting, but he's not there yet.
I think you segued into the final bit, which actually works out well. 2023, what are you looking forward to that you think one could happen and then two should happen for 2023? What actually? Let's just go with that. What you think should happen with 2023, and if it
If
doesn't,
Spence
what?
first Crawford doesn't happen, both of them can F off. No, wait, let me not say it like that. It sounds like I got smoke for them. All the politics to do with that fight can F off if it doesn't happen next year. Errol Spence, let's hurry up and move up weight class, and then Crawford just become undisputed by beating the rest of the guys. And I don't even know how long Crawford's probably going to stay in boxing because he's getting older. And I know Jamel Charlo is facing Tim Tszyu January, I believe. And my presumption is if Jamel Charlo wins that, he's going to vacate his undisputed belts and then go middleweight. And then if this Crawford fight doesn't happen, Errol Spence is then going to go to 154 because the same way people are saying, oh, they're drawing out Crawford age-wise, but Errol Spence has been dying to make welterweight for so long. I'm sure he's gonna appreciate going up a weight class and not having to cut as much weight because he's getting older as well and it gets harder on the body. So if that fight doesn't happen, I'm not even gonna say 2023. If it doesn't happen halfway through 2023, I do not care no more.
I don't know you. I feel like
Throw the fight in the bin.
I feel
I
like
do
we
not
say
want to
that.
go into 2024 speaking on this fight. I don't want to go into this year speaking of that fight. But now I'm at the point of if it doesn't happen, like at least if nothing's booked, at least by like June next year, throw the fight in the bin. Errol Spence, go to 154, and it's going to be the biggest what if ever.
What about, I guess, the rising stars? And let's just go with that. Is there any few fighters you're looking at America in the UK that you're like, not necessarily even a well title push, but
Yeah.
to continue that momentum that, yeah, you guys are the potential stars of this sport. Let's see what you can do in 2023.
Bam Bam Rodriguez. Because if I remember correctly, Bam Bam was the one who took a fight on short notice this year at weight class above his normal weight class. And then he got the belt, then defended it. He had a good title defense as well. And I think Bam Bam Rodriguez that's the guy who I think Eddie Hearn, obviously you've got a lot of American promoters hating on Eddie Hearn, but if he can get the Bam Bam Rodriguez one right, that is a big star he's got in his hand. So I think Bam Rodriguez, off the top of my head quickly, that's the person who I think can be a big breakout star, especially in like the whole Latin America market. I think that's a big guy. And in a way, I'm trying to think, can he finally cross over? Because he's a big star, obviously, you can tell in Japan. And I think that's even good. I'm glad that I know they tried to make him cross over before and it didn't really work out. But I think it's good that they made him establish his base more in Japan. Just because sometimes like you need to establish a foundation on your home base. Because I would even like the fact of if there's bigger stars here that still go to Japan and make big fights there, I think it's better for boxing when people go all across the world. Because yeah, I get the bright lights of America. The sport don't revolve around them no more, man. Let's make this truly international sport like it should be. It's world champions for a reason. So let's have these fights across the world. So I think I would hope that in a way can become a crossover star, but I still want him to be able to do that with bringing big fights to Japan. And also, I just like the time zone difference. I like it, man. You can be at
Bro,
work
I'm
and
the same.
yeah, you can be at work and there's World Championship boxing on, man. I can't complain.
Before we wrap up quickly, then I think it'd be a toast to here in the UK as well. Light heavyweight boxing. Dan Aziz won yesterday. Well, at the time of this recording, it'll be yesterday. With that division being so heavy, with a lot of UK talent in there as well, what do we see for that going forward? I don't know. Yard's got his fight coming up. But let's see little names that we can throw out as well. Where do we see that in terms of I'll say that in terms of world domination, because I think a lot of the big pool of fighters there are from the UK, you could say. So, like, where do we see these guys for 2023? Is there any marquee fights you want to see, or you think they can get up that next level potentially as well at light heavyweight?
I believe so. To the best of my understanding, Callum Smith is WBC mandatory at light heavyweight. He's gonna need a ticking over fight during that time. The rumor was Buatsi, but they're also saying Buatsi might just also get a shot against Bivol, whilst Bivol waits for Better Beef to do undisputed. What I would also like, if we can make Callum Smith versus Lyndon Arthur, I would be very happy with that. Extremely happy with that. I would love, because Lyndon Arthur, I was a big supporter of him from a while back, and I still feel like he got screwed over by Queensbury, and we already know how that went. But either or, I would love if Lyndon Arthur can get that crack against Callum Smith, and I think that's just a good fight. Like we were talking about the talented, British light heavyweights. I think that would be a brilliant fight. Callum Smith versus Lyndon Arthur, make it happen. It'll be interesting. Buatsi, I think, is in a do or die year because his career has always been stagnant and going, and I feel like it's now or never for him to go and get that world title shot. So maybe Eddie Hearn might just cash in and say, "Yo, Buatsi, here goes the Money in the Bank briefcase, running that ring." So, and listen, after what with Ghana in the World Cup and that atrocious performance, even though the Black Stars, their squad is looking good, so hopefully the next coach sorts it out. Buatsi, Ghana needs to win. Rise.
And I'm going to let you know. Now, listen, we've got Adam and Zeem, so we're good anyway for Pakistan side.
Listen, shout out you guys, but Ghana needs a W. And listen, man, Buatsi, rise. I don't know if you want to go the Bivol route. Obviously, he was meant to face John Pascal, and that fell through, which was a shame because I feel like that would have been a very good marquee fight for him. But whether it's Buatsi versus Bivol or Buatsi versus Callum Smith or Callum Smith versus Lyndon Arthur, let's get these fights rolling. Dan Aziz as well, I think it's time for him to go to world level. I know he wants to do the whole UK round robin, but listen, man, until everyone gets their title shot first, I don't think it will happen. I think if all the UK guys get a title shot, whether they win or lose, I think that's when they can do this whole big British Super Six series type of thing. But let people have the world title shots first, because I'm not trying to be funny. You're going for the world title shot before you're going to do this,
UK
domestic dust ups. Even though the domestic dust ups can make money, but everyone go for the world title shots first. And if that don't happen, then come and, you got Buatsi first yard. You've got, Craig Richards for Buatsi, which was this year, which was a great fight. And I think, listen, man, F all of this, man. Buatsi, go get that world title. And I want Callum Smith first, Lyndon Arthur. And then everyone else, and shout out, Yard, go do your thing again. Better Beef. That's going to be a tough task, but all I can ask is for him to go out there, do his best, and put East London on the map, regardless. So that's going to be happening. Is it February or January?
I think it's January. I want to say.
Yeah. So listen, man, and special shout. I don't even know why I'm sneaking this in here, but the best UK win this year in combat sports was Leon Edwards, and that was my guy from there. I know it's MMA, but I need to sneak that in there. So shout out Leon Edwards, shout out his coach with the Brum accent that got him motivated to get a head kick knockout. Shout out all of them, because Look at Me Now became statement of the year. That's on God in them. Sorry.
No, I like that. But we are going to wrap up today's episode of the StayWeighedIn podcast. As always, it's the 100th episode. If you are watching this and you stay towards the end as well, hit that subscribe button, drop us a little like, comment, the notification with all that good stuff. We've got big 2023 hopefully lined up with more interviews and stuff to come through. But Ray, before we wrap up, any last words to the guys?
If this is the final episode of the year, it might not, but we'll see what happens, because this Baltimore can be a crazy place and anything can happen. But if not, happy holidays, happy new year. See you on the flip side. Take care, great health, great wealth, and stay weighed in.
And with that, love and peace, guys.